Welcome back to another video. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. That was actually a lot of fun. And as you can see now, 95% of the road is finished. And I'm actually super happy with how this is turning out. And yes, Perry the Platypus has made a return over here. I'm not sure why half of his face is missing though. I'll figure that out later. Anyway, let's get back on this. So these roads, I use a mixture of basalt and deep slate, and the deep slate is turned in a different direction to make different patterns. Also on the sides, I didn't want the buildings to be just directly along the road, so I added these sidewalks, and yes, they do have these in Chicago. I'm going to come back and texture them probably with some andesite, maybe even some gravel down on this layer, and I'm just super happy with how this blends from the road to the sidewalk. I really like it. If you watched the last episode, then you know a little bit of what's going on, but in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, welcome to NewManBurg. A little bit of lore: in season 1 of Jumblecraft, we had a town called NewManBurg. Not stolen from anything important like some big SMP or anything. Totally original. I had the town of NewManBurg, and it was the main town of the entire season. It's where most of us are building, and I want this to be like NewManBurg Part 2. Now getting its own spin on things, and I am calling it NewManBurg. So I'm super excited to continue the development of NewManBurg here. I also have to finish up all of the sidewalks. I'm not going to video that. Then we have to get started on the tunnel over here. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I finished up this little tunnel over on this side. I wanted it to make it seem like this had been at one point, sort of like the cliff came all the way to the edge here. And this is the new path for the road to go along. I just started randomly placing blocks here, and I'm super happy with how this turned out. Not many people will be over on this side very often, but I think this is a nice little extra bit of the city. Like I said before, we've got the tunnel on that side, as well as bringing the roads down and blending them into this area here off the cliff. And I would like to have at least one bridge going to the other side on this like island area. So we've got to get all of that done in this episode. So next episode, we can get started on our first building. I am so excited for that. So while I continue to work on these sidewalks, let's head over to the shopping district. There's a couple new things over there, and I like to keep you guys updated. And here is our first new thing right here. It's a beautiful bridge, and this is legitimately my first time seeing this. I was just flying over to the shopping district, and this is here. I'm not entirely sure who's building this bridge, but it looks fantastic, and I have a slight feeling that it is probably Deadshot. I'm just taking a guess, but I think it's probably Deadshot building that. Anyway, let's head over to the shopping district. Of course, the giant statue of me is still here, as well as some development. Me, myself, and I and Llama Love came through here and added some trees, some decorations, some grass, just to make the area look a little bit more nature oriented, and I am super happy with how the shopping district is shaping up. This itself is what NewManBurg used to be like, just a shopping area where I had several shops, and other people had shops where we could just build wherever we wanted. That's why I've always loved the idea of the shopping districts. Time to head back to the base and get those sidewalks finished, and then we'll get started on the tunnel. Just like so, the tunnel is finished. I came back after the time lapse and added several little details like these little antennas off to the side here, as well as these little copper grates. I really like these things, and I'm hoping they'll oxidize and get more of that green color. And over here, just some signs saying that you are leaving the NewManBurg city limits. I also added some cracks into the tunnel here, just to make it seem a little bit older, a little bit more worn. And as for the design, I was going for a very city-looking tunnel. That's why it's not very complicated. It's quite simple. Also, around the top here, I had to come do some terraforming. I didn't realize I didn't finish that part, but most of the terraforming is done anyway. Of course, I'll be removing that beacon right there. It was just to help me dig out this area. And I was going to make this tunnel fully go to the other side, but the other side is more than 1,000 blocks in that direction. So instead of just wasting all my time, I just turned it into this facade, and it's just dark, so you can't really see the back. And I think this is definitely good enough for what I was trying to accomplish. As well as finishing the tunnel, I also have finished all of these sidewalks, and I came back and textured all of them with a lot of andesite just to add a little bit of texture so they didn't seem so repetitive. I do still have to finish the bridges that are going to lead off of this area, as well as the ones over here that are going to come down into this area. They need to kind of blend off. As you can see, it's really harsh in these two spots. I'm going to continue to work on this over the next week, while I also collect materials for the first couple buildings. So next episode, we'll get at least the first skyscraper building, whatever it's going to be, finished, and I'm so excited for that. Unfortunately though, Hurricane Burl just hit our area, and I'm not gonna have much time else to record this week, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Later!